She's Her Royal Highness Princess Skhanyiso, Principal Princess of the Kingdom of Swaziland. But unofficially, she's Pashu, singer and rapper in a country that is still deeply traditional.
From above, see what's really good. Why are the people so afraid? Derives from the cultural traditions that we have here in Swaziland. Ingwala, Umhlanga, Butimba, all of them. And they're what inspire me, actually. For instance, we have Tika. That's when you'll have the men saying, Sibone mankai sai su, oh si sweat, yela, oh Sibone mankai sai, sugala mankai sai su, hai sugala mankai sai su, kai sai sugala bahai la mankai sai. And that already sounds like rap.
But the princess remains an ardent defender of the monarchy.
We believe in what the people want. So His Majesty called the country and presented to him that, oh, there is a cry from a minority in Swaziland that something like this should happen. And the people said, we refuse. We want monarchy.
Now you can see she believes her father's lies. That they actually consulted the consultations with the people, and the people preferred a monarchy, that there is a minority of people, only a minority, which I believe they still hold up to now, that the people who are calling for democracy is just a minority. That's what she's echoing there. The father's mentality, the father's state of mind, that he believes that it's only a small minority of people. And it's coming from Skhanyiso, who is just a young lady, maturing lady, believing her own father's lies. And to believe that I had so much hope in Skhanyiso, and to say some statements that will show that she's at variance, it logos with her father, showing that maybe she's open-minded, she's liberal, she's compassionate and very sympathetic with the people's cause. Now, if you listen to what she's saying at 28, you can see that she's a totally changed person. She's a person whose advice to the king might be the most toxic, because I think she's the closest person to the king who the king can listen to. And instead of giving the king the right advice, she just gives him toxic advice and believes the lies that his father tells, and continued and perpetuate all the lies, all the fakeness, all the pretense. It's now embodied in her. We used to think that she is going to be the agent of change that Swaziland would really need in the future, because of the things that she was rebellious. She was mostly against what the father. She was also against polygamy, which she expressed very openly that polygamy only benefits the man, and the woman had not taken it, and she was gagged for it. And we thought that she was continuing to be vocal on the people's side. Now I am just shocked. She had so much promise in her, and you can see what the king has done here. He has just polluted another mind, his very own daughter. He has contaminated her mind. And if he's going to go down, he's going to go down with her. There's no doubt they are going to go down together, because I don't see Skhanyiso going back to the liberal mind that she had, the open-mindedness that she used to nature as a human being. She's an educated lady who should really look at things objectively, but she's failing to do that simply because she's very subjective and support the father, and maybe because of all the luxury that comes with them being in the royal family and enjoying this kind of status quo. She can't really fight for anything else, because she also knows now that fighting a father would mean that they are going to lose what they have right now. But they might not have lost anything. They could have gained a lot if they had fought for the people. The people would have defended her in the end. Right now, people cannot defend her because she believes the lies that they always tell each other there in the royal family, in the royal household. That it's only a minority. It's just a minority. Where is all the hope gone to?
That if we don't have a king in Swaziland, everybody knows, it's instantaneously war. I just feel unappreciative and ungrateful, and even kind of leaves me in despair, because it's almost like the past is so rough that, you know, what can I possibly do now to change that? So yeah, that's just one thing that we're running out of these days. Hope.
She's under this illusion that without the king, Swaziland won't survive. Swaziland is ungovernable without the king, and the king is the one who holds the fabric of the society together. That is very, very untrue. Of course, the king is very important, because Swaziland is a cultural society. It's deeply rooted in culture, but it can build itself up without the king. It can build itself up as a democracy without the king altogether. There are so many democracies that exist in Africa without any king that are not monarchs. And she needs just to look around the countries that are around her, which are surviving without a king. And then she won't continue to tell herself a lie that without the king, Swaziland will just collapse. The past is not rough. The future is actually going to be rougher than the past. Actually, things are going to turn out for the West if they don't really put their house in order. And she's saying, what can I do now to... Of course, at 18, she couldn't do anything. But now, right now, at 28, she's a minister of ICT, and she's very influential there. She calls herself the third most important person in Swaziland. She can do quite a lot. She can't pretend to be as helpless as she used to be when she was just 18. She's 28 and a very mature woman who has got a lot to say in as far as Swaziland politics is concerned. She can change a lot, and she can influence the king to even change for the better, but she's just not willing to do that. She has chosen not to do that, and she's totally to blame. She can't tell us now as to what she used to tell us when she was 18, that there is no hope. She has to create the hope, because her position is so paramount. The king has brought her into his government, and she plays a very, very important role. And I'm told that she's a shareholder or a CEO in MTN, Swaziland MTN. She's now trying to hide behind a finger. She can't continue to do that. We can see her for who she really is. Just a pretender. Just like everyone else, is just someone who's just a politician who's just out to milk the country and to starve everyone of anything that they can survive on.
Does he know? How old is he? 10. 10. Just 3. Ngelihag, bayatihag kutsini. Bese uyagaqa. Akatigaqqa kutsini. Nale lesingane. Bese uyangibamba. Uyangiyanya akafuni ukungibamba. Heartbroken because of what I've just seen, and about the fact that the government just abandons this area. They have so much money and they could just do anything with it, but they just choose not to. We have to stand up. We, us children, and I'm not 12 anymore, I'm 18, about to be 19. I think that's grown. I think it's high time I did something. I am the eldest of the king's children, so for the upcoming future generation, we need to have that sort of hope and give the people some sort of validation that we are going to help them. And no matter what happens, yeah, this country's going to turn around someday.
me believe very soon, in my time, hopefully. No, not hopefully, in my time. In my time.
Everything is just like a piece of drama to her. Now, after seeing these children at this orphanage who are very miserably poor, she's starting, she's hallucinating, like she's just saying things, imagining things that she was 18, she was only 18 at this stage. When she visited this orphanage, now she's 28. And what has happened between now and then? What actually materialized? Nothing. It's in actual fact, things have become worse. The indulgence by the royal household is worsened. When she's mature, when she's in the government, when she's also part of the administration, everything is just worsening, and it's just the poverty is just ballooning. And she's doing what? She say, in my time there'll be help, what. She's just blah 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 blah, just some rubbish that she saw. She had witnessed the poverty in its real sense, poverty in its actual existence, poverty in reality. And her face changed for a while, but we don't see any change that she brought. She brought only the West to Swaziland. It's the West. Now, if we are to look at the pictures that I just found on Facebook, where they are buying clothes for the king's children at very exorbitant prices, never even thinking about the suffering of the people, of the roads that needs maintenance, of the bridges that need to be rebuilt, of the everything, infrastructure that needs to be built up in Swaziland. They don't care about it. They buy very, very expensive clothes, like maybe they are part of the Queen of England's household. They are quite oblivious to the suffering and the misery and the extreme poverty that surrounds them, so that they live like they are living on an island. But this island is an island of poverty, which they are choosing to ignore. When people hear through rumor that Skhanyiso has been poisoned, they just look at each other and wonder. They say, to hell with Skhanyiso. And they're poisoning. And they go about their usual business without even worrying about your sickness. Without even worrying about your sickness, because inwardly they feel like they've been murdered by her a long time back. She is like killing them softly. She has really done a lot of damage to her own people, so that they don't care about her welfare. That's how far bad it is for her right now. If she recovers, she must really, this is time for her to reconsider and to rethink and make up a mind whether she wants to keep fighting the people or want to start fighting for the people. Just look at those dresses, how expensive they are. If they could only afford to buy something moderate and give the rest of the money to society at large, for the common good, would they not be really be, God would look at them as people who are really responsible. Even people would start looking at them from a different perspective. But they've chosen a path where they'll just ignore everybody. Everyone is just ignored. They are self-serving and in the West form. Which is why what I think is happening in Swaziland now, people are saying Swaziland is burning. Surely it should continue. People should help the school children who are rioting. Help them, please. I think this is the time when you should be helping these kids. Because these sporadic riots sometimes will fizzle to nothing if there's no real reinforcement. If you reinforce them, it will be time when the real revolution would have started. That's the best way to, because there's no proper time. There's no time that can be said to be the best time to start something like this. This is the best time to start it, especially with the student in the front. The students, the advantage with the students that they don't care. They have nothing to lose. They don't have children. They don't have homes. They don't have shops. They don't have, so they can go in front and just lead and never care about anything else except for the revolution. I see people just looking at these kids and maybe wondering, let's join them and become part of what they are doing. And you realize that Mswati, you won't have anywhere to look at. You will find it difficult to concentrate on anything. Now, right now, you can concentrate on the students. You can concentrate on a few people who are rioting. But if the whole country is rioting, like now the students are back at schools, if this gets started, it can really mushroom into something that the king cannot even control. I think that is what Swaziland needs. It doesn't need negotiations. This king has to be really confused. He has to have a lot on his hands, so that if there is any negotiation of some kind, he will be bargaining for his own survival. That's the only way he can bargain. When he fears, when he's about to lose his position, he can talk sense. You force him into real negotiations. If you don't do that, you keep on playing games with you, playing ping pong with everyone. And for as far as he's concerned, that is for him fair enough. That's enough for him. That is exactly what he wants. Delay everything until maybe the pro-democracy activist gets tired, or rather lose direction, or something happens that will still keep him in power. He wants to keep himself in power, or he wants to remain in power for as long as possible, because the prospect of vacating that seat is too difficult, too horrendous, too horrible to contemplate for him. He can't imagine himself staying out of that position, staying without the throne of the king. He can't imagine that. He would rather commit suicide than be moved, or rather be removed from his position as king. I'm telling you. So you need to be cornered. Negotiations are not bad, but you can't negotiate with the king who has everything, who has nothing to bargain for. He will be bargaining for what if you take him to negotiations now? But if he bargains for his position, for the throne, then he will talk sense. When he loses the bargaining power because people are taking all over, then he will really make concessions. You concede to a lot of things, and you'll be shocked that this is a very king who seemed like he never wanted to give anything away. Oh, this is We Africa. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends and family.